Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. My name's Em. If you don't know, now you know. I am like pissing sweat. Oh my god. I can't have the windows open or the AC on or a fan on when I'm recording because my mic picks up everything. And I feel like I'm dying. So if I get very red by the end of this, that's why. Anyways, how are you guys? How was your week? Who'd you see? Fuck, I fucked it up. Who'd you see? What'd you do? Who'd you see? Did you eat good food? Maybe? I don't know. The fuck did you do this week? Sorry. I had a pretty decent week. My parents came up this past weekend to help me with a couple things around the apartment before my sister moves in August. So that was good. Went to a ball game, did the whole 9. But yeah, how was your guys' week? I feel like I have a lot of pent-up energy again. I think I said that last week too. We're going to get into this a little bit. If you haven't noticed, I'm going through some shit. I've just had this constant, like, pent-up feeling of, I don't even want to say energy, because it's not like I'm, like, hyper, you know? It's just, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. My routine has all but disappeared in the last month, 6 weeks-ish. And I would say that I don't know why, but that wouldn't be 100% true. I do have some ideas as to why my life has felt insanely scattered, but one of the big things and one of the annoying things about my routine being non-existent lately, I just have so much of this like pent up, again, kind of anxious, I don't know what to do with myself energy, and I'm over it. One of my big focuses or like intentions for this week is to get my shit together, get my life back to be like back to a point where I feel like every day is kind of consistent and organized. Because here's the thing, I've talked about this maybe on here, but just with people in general, people always tell me that it's unnecessary and whatever else. I sit like on a Sunday or even a Saturday, I will sit and plan out basically the entirety of my week by the hour, like to the point of like I have scheduled time, like okay, I'm waking up at this time, I need to leave the house at this time to get to the gym for this time. This is what I'm doing for like the 5 hours I have after work. And for some people, it doesn't work. You know, like for some people, that's not something that's realistic and also not productive. For me, I need that structure and kind of like the pre-planned, here's what every day is going to look like. Otherwise, I won't do anything. I will get off work at 5 and then sit on the couch until it's like 9:45. And I'm like, okay, I didn't eat supper, didn't go for a walk, didn't stretch, didn't do anything, didn't like, you know, I didn't do any work for the podcast, or I didn't edit anything for Instagram, like all of these things, I didn't do any of it, which it's fine to not do anything, but I do it to an extreme where if I don't, so like this week, for example, or this past week, I guess, on Thursday, I got off work earlier. So I like planned out, okay, I want to go do this hike. So I like, you know, blocked out my 2 hours. I found the trail that I want to go hike, and that works. I also have like a couple days a week, I have time literally like booked into my evening of I'm going to go find a park and I'm going to go sit at a park for an hour or an hour and a half before I go home and I eat supper. So I'm not overscheduling myself to be like hyper productive. I'm not doing it where I'm like, okay, every half an hour I need to accomplish a task. I do it as like, here's me time blocking my week so that I actually get anything done. Because again, otherwise I won't do anything. I won't go outside, won't go for a walk, won't get any steps in, like won't do anything. So I kind of overschedule myself. But the past month, I've just not been actually following through with what I schedule. It also doesn't help. I find that when I go home, like when I go visit my parents and my siblings, I don't have any fucking structure or any routine when I go home, which is great because I don't necessarily want to be like super busy while I'm home. I want to be able to spend time with them and just kind of sit on the couch and do nothing. But it does mean that I struggle to get back into my routine when I get back home. And I've been going to my parents' place a lot more the last couple weeks than I normally do in the winter. So that hasn't been helpful, but I'm working on it. Not their fault. That's totally on me. Like it's 100% on me for not keeping any routine while I'm home. So I'm trying to do better with that as well. So this week, I wanted to talk about, this is one of the things that have been on my like list of podcast topics since forever. So I wanted to talk about why being delusional and acting like the person you want to become and acting like you are living the life that you want to live like why it works, why it's helpful, why it's a good thing, why you should be doing it. I want to talk about why you should be delusional and why you should allow yourself to, I don't want to say like magical thinking, because I think that's a whole nother realm of not delusion, but that's like a whole nother, we're not going to get into that. You should act like the person you want to become. You should think and not pretend. You should execute habits and like, what's the word? Actions that closely relate to who you want to become and what you want to be in life. Essentially, acting like the person you want to become happens by changing day-to-day habits to better embody the life that you want for yourself. Now, there's a difference between like, you know, the whole saying of like fake it till you make it. That's one thing. That's like over here. Acting like who you want to become is on the other side of like, there's a wall here. You got to cross over into being intentional with your actions and decisions in order to alter the way that your life is currently happening. So there's a big difference between me sitting here and me pretending that I'm living a different life than I am. You know, I can sit here and post pictures of like bougie brands and pretend that I'm buying these things and make other people imagine that I'm living a life different than what I am. That would be me faking it. Like, that would be me kind of impersonating somebody else's life, which is not the point. If I decide, okay, I want to change, like, say one of my life goals was to buy designer brands and buy, like, bougie bags, for example. It's not, but pretend it is for this example. The difference is if I was faking it, I could go find a picture online, post it as, like, act as if I just ordered this, I don't know, $10,000 bag when I didn't. Or if I make the decision that that's the life I want to live, there has to be intentional actions that would lead me to that. You know, I need to, I don't know, work a second job so that I'm making more money. I need to, whatever you would need to do to actually make that an attainable thing. And that's the difference between faking the life that you're currently like pretending that you're living a different life and making intentional actions and decisions that like eventually will allow you to live that alternative life, you know? And it's a very important difference to understand those two things. There's a very fine line between me impersonating somebody else's life and pretending that it's my life. I'm not pretending to be the person that I want to become. Like, that's not the goal here. The goal is to act like the person that I want to become. For example, if you're in a position in your life right now that maybe you're not super happy with your life, maybe you're not super happy with yourself as a person or your position in life or whatever it is, that's who you are at this current moment. If you want to become a person who is confident in themselves and secure in themselves and in a better position in life and more content, whatever, you need to almost not lie to yourself to get there, but you need to make those little changes day to day, such as just the way that you talk to yourself and talk about yourself. When your brain sees you talking shit about like yourself, so like pretend I'm standing in the mirror, I'm getting ready for the morning, and I am sitting there and I am just like shit talking myself. I am talking down every achievement I've ever done. Like, I'm telling myself that I don't deserve to be where I'm at and like, whatever it is. When your brain sees you doing that shit, when your brain sees you hating the way your life is, regretting your decisions, whatever, it's going and you're going to continue this negative cycle of I do everything wrong, life doesn't work out for me, life is so much better for other people, I'm undeserving, blah, 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 blah. But if I stand in the mirror, and even if I don't believe it, but if I stand in the mirror and I tell myself that I'm deserving of where I'm at and I'm in a good position in life and I'm doing well, your brain sees you getting up and doing the thing. You know, your brain is recognizing the pattern of I wake up and I tell myself good things about my life and I make good things happen. If I'm high-fiving myself and congratulating myself for small actions, it's going to alter those neural pathways in your brain that allow you to believe the good things that you're doing. So yeah, that's one of the most essential parts of acting like the person or acting like the lifestyle that you want is already yours, is changing those pathways in your brain that go from continuing this negative cycle of I wake up, I hate myself, I eat, I hate myself, I work out, I hate myself, I go to bed, I hate myself, I go to work, I hate everything that you do in life is paired with a negative sentiment towards it. You need to change those pathways. You need to like alter the way that your brain thinks about you and thinks about the actions that you do, because it can have such a huge difference and people don't know how much of a change that can make simply by altering the way that you're talking about yourself to yourself. Again, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a doctor, I didn't do shit research for this, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. Rick Kittner posted a TikTok, I'll link it down below, but he posted a TikTok about 3 separate books that can help you learn to act like the person you want to become. So the first one, everybody knows this book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. I haven't read it yet, which is insane. I just don't really read books. I need to, and I want to. I just don't ever fucking read a book. But Atomic Habits, everybody knows it, everybody loves it, everybody stands by it. Essentially, the book is about learning how to break bad habits and also develop new ones. It also, a big part of Atomic Habits is explaining why habits are more important than goals, and why, which I think we've talked about that, kind of, I always try and remember that in order to actually achieve my goals in life, I need to create a lifestyle that pertains to the success of those goals, which goes along with this, like acting like the person you want to become. I can sit here and say, okay, here's XYZ goal, like here's all of my goals for the next 5 years. I almost need to put myself in the shoes of me in 5 years who's accomplished all of those things. I can't sit here and say, okay, these are all of my goals for the next 5 years, but I'm not going to change as a person in those 5 years to accomplish those goals. That's not how it works. That's not how it's ever going to work. Otherwise, I would accomplish all my goals right now and I wouldn't actually have any future goals. So in order for me to check things off of that list of the goals I have for the next 1 to 3 to 5 years, I need to put myself in the shoes of whoever I'm going to be in 5 years. And that's what I need to pretend to do. That's who I need to act like right now. Atomic Habits explains why habits are more important than goals. And I don't know, everybody stands by it. Everybody fucking loves that book. So there's that. The second book was Make Time by Jake Knapp and John Zeratsky. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. And obviously all of these books touch on like a bunch of different topics. They're not only about one thing, but one of the main focuses in Make Time was learning how to free up time in your life for things that are most important to you. So essentially learning how to prioritize your time, learning how to prioritize your tasks in a day so that you can actually accomplish the things that you really want to accomplish. And then Tiny Habits by Fogg. I think that's how you say his name, or maybe that's a typo. But Tiny Habits, all of these books will be linked in the description, as well as the TikTok talking about them. Tiny Habits is about how to choose the right habits, and a lot of people that have read this book have said that you should read Atomic Habits first to understand the importance of habits, and also, again, how to break bad habits, how to set new ones, blah, 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 and then read Tiny Habits so that you have a good understanding of choosing the right habits after you've gone through the process of breaking bad ones. So those are 3 books that are recommended to people or by people in terms of how to act like a person you want to become, how to act like a different person than who you are right now. So those are there. Your life is entirely in your own control, which can be terrifying, but it also allows you the freedom to choose who you want to become. You know, okay, do you guys play The Sims? I fucking love The Sims. But when you're playing The Sims, like specifically The Sims 4, they get Like, they have fears. So you can have like a fear of fire, or a fear of swimming, or a fear of drowning, whatever. And oftentimes the whim or the fear that I think all Sims, but specifically my Sims, get is the fear of unfulfilled dreams. I think that's what it's called. Essentially, you get this little blurb about how they feel like their life is in control of somebody else, referencing you because you're controlling your Sim's life. And they feel like they're never going to accomplish their goals, and they feel like they're no longer in control of their own life. You're not a Sim. I mean, you probably are a Sim. Like, we're probably all actually in somebody's Sims game, and we're all in a simulation. I don't want to think about that right now. Pretend that you're not a Sim. You have autonomy over your own life. You have the decision, and you have the power to wake up tomorrow and, within reason, say, I want to change the trajectory of my life. I want to change who I'm becoming. I want to change what I'm becoming, and I want to change the way that I'm going to get there. And you can do that. We don't really get like a start menu. You know when you're playing a video game for the first time, or you like start a new save, and you get to pick, here's your like 5 characters, and you get to pick who you want, give a little blurb about what each one does and who each one is. We don't get that. You don't get to like pick out of 5 default characters who you're going to be in life. You do get the choice throughout your entire life to make changes or shift your priorities to create the best version of yourself. You get to create your character. You get to make and design the person that you're going to be in life. And that's done through little subtle changes that we make day to day that all lead up to a really fucking big thing. I think one of the hard things about changing who you are in life, and I'm not saying you have to like, we'll get into this, you don't have to change every single aspect of your life, but in order to change parts of who you are and to become who you want to be, you have to kind of force yourself to take action on the things that you want to become a regular part of your life. I could sit here and say, I want to wake up at 5 a.m. every single day and have a super structured morning routine, and here's like my 18 steps that I want to do every morning, and then I want to go to work, and then I want to have a super productive evening, and I want every day to feel like I got a million things done. Okay, that's fine if that's what I want, but until I make the decision to actually do those things, I can't sit here and complain. You know how we had that whole episode about how you can't complain about shit if you don't actually put the effort in to make the change? Same thing here. You know how we did that whole episode about how you're not allowed to be disappointed in yourself if you didn't put the effort in to make a change? Similar to this. If I don't set my alarm for 5 a.m. tomorrow, if I don't set myself up for success, I can't complain that I'm not that person. If I want to start being like a long distance biker, you know, like cyclist, if that's what I want with my life, and that's like one of my goals that I have, but I don't buy a bike, I don't buy a helmet, I don't start training, I don't do any of that, I don't get to sit here and bitch about the fact that I can't go for like a 100-kilometer cycle. You have to force yourself to actually take action on those things in order for them to become a regular part of your life. To be a better or smarter or a new or just more improved version of yourself, sometimes you have to abandon who you used to be. That's not to say that you have to abandon every characteristic and every quality of your old life, but you do have to lose some of it. Like, okay, for example, I used to love, or back on the early morning thing, I used to love staying up until like 5 a.m. Like, not sleeping all night, staying up till 5, 6 a.m. because one of the things that I loved was getting to see the sunrise and the sunset in the same day. So I would wake up late in the day, see the sunset, stay up all night, and then see the sunrise, and then I would go to bed. And that was like, I loved it for whatever fucking reason. That was something that just, it made me happy to not miss a sunrise or a sunset in the same like wake period. Now I go to bed right after sunset, so I still get to watch it, and I wake up right before sunrise, so I still get to enjoy both of those in the same, again, like wake cycle, whatever you want to call it. The same period of me being awake, I get to see the sunrise and the sunset. Now, I didn't give up my love for seeing both of them. I just shifted my priorities because my priorities no longer aligned with me staying up all night and never getting any fucking sleep. So instead of losing that quality of myself, instead of losing my like love to see both sunset and sunrise in the same day, I didn't give that up. I just shifted the way that my life existed around that schedule. I used to love how quiet. Like, I used to love the quiet that existed in the small town that I grew up in. And when I moved to the city, it's never fucking quiet here. There's always cars, there's always sirens, there's always people. So now, after work sometimes, I will, like, drive a couple minutes out of the city to different hikes and different trails so that I can still get that quiet. You know, you still get the birds and the trees and whatever else, but you get that quiet. I didn't give up that part of my life. I didn't give up that aspect of who I am. You just have to alter your life a little bit. I have so many goals and ambitions and plans and ideas for my life that I once never thought were going to be able to exist, because who I was when I was younger, who I was before, my life didn't align with having certain goals and ambitions and whatever else. I had to make changes to allow for those things. For example, like, my perception of what made a person rich when I was younger compared to now has done like a complete 180. Rich to me now means like the opportunity to die with memories, the opportunity to exist freely in a world without worrying about how much I have in my savings, or the thought of an existence where I don't have to work for the rest of my life and I can go live in a tent in the woods and never talk to people ever again. Except for a podcast. You know what I mean? Like, my life has completely changed and my perception of what I want in life has completely changed. But there was a lot of steps in between where I was at 15, thinking that I wanted to be like a quadrillionaire and have the biggest house and all this shit, to where I'm at now, where I want the exact opposite. I had to take steps and I had to make changes to get from point A to point B, and that's okay. You're allowed to change who you are as a person. You're allowed to change every aspect of your life if you really fucking want. Like, you are, again, at the end of the day, you're in control of who you are. You can move across the world, never speak to anybody in your life ever again, and have a completely new existence somewhere else. Power to you. Like, do whatever you need to do to feel fulfilled. There is a version of you that knows exactly what changes you need to make to become a better version of yourself. And there's also a version of you that's stopping that from happening. And if you want to make any changes in your life, if you want to be a different person, if you want to be a better person, you have to decipher why a version of you is preventing that and what to do to get away from that version. It's one of those things that you need to, like, if you care enough to change a part of yourself or who you are entirely, you need to come with, like, you need to have the understanding that you're gonna make sacrifices. There's gonna be parts of your life that you miss, but there's also gonna be parts of your life that you have to kind of completely abandon in order to make room for the new changes and the new ambitions and the new goals. And that's okay. Because realistically, life is fucking short and it's also painfully long, and you get to decide who you're gonna be and where you're gonna be and what you're gonna do with your life. Nobody else has the ability to make that decision. So, yeah. I don't know. Happy Monday. Truly, yeah. Honestly, I don't have a ton else. I think it's important to normalize the idea of changing who you are and changing parts of yourself and not having a negative connotation with that. People love to have this negative aspect of like, oh, they changed who they are as a person. Oh, they're different. Oh, they, like, it's like I don't even know that person. Okay, good. People are allowed to grow. People are allowed to make changes. People are allowed to change their mind about who they want to be and what they want to be. And you don't get an opinion on that. Truthfully. Sorry to say it. Like, people get to do whatever the fuck they want to do. And that's a cool thing. And you can also do whatever the fuck you want to do. Anyways, that's all we've got for this week. Thank you so much for listening, guys. If you made it this far, I appreciate you so much. Go follow me on Instagram, Hey from M, EBFit, Emily Brouillard from her personal. We're on YouTube. I say it every week. I'll continue to say it. So if you prefer to watch your podcasts, go to YouTube. It'll be in the show notes. But yeah, I don't know. I hope you guys have an excellent week. Maybe your goal for the week can be find 3 different things in your life that you want to change or you want to alter or make a little bit different, and figure out the steps that you're going to take in order to get there. So yeah, I don't know. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave a review, whatever else it is that they let you do. It doesn't make a big difference for you guys, but it makes a huge difference for me. And yeah, we'll chat next time.